Today, 4 teams take the stage to try and forge a path to Masters Tokyo and beyond. Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to the final day of VCT Super Week here for Americas. Of course, we're live from the Riot Games studio. I'm Golden Boy. This is Mimi. That's Rivington. We're going to talk about video games today, and you're going to join us through this wondrous journey that we're about to take on together. Let's go ahead and talk about what went down on this very stage yesterday, because it's quite an unexpected Monday, guys. Lots of things happened. Emotions, we felt things.
Yeah,
Mimi,
that's true.
We felt a lot of things, especially during that EG game. But looking at our first matchup, 100 Thieves, Leviathan, I think this is when the feels really started to hit us, because this was an excellent game.
Yeah, this game was incredible. It started off on Icebox, which was a battle of just really both these teams having really good ideas of how to adapt against their opponent. It went all the way to the distance on this one. Leviathan ended up just barely squeaking by with some huge clutches from players like King and Shot.
The retake game on both sides, I feel like that's a word we're saying so often now, is teams are almost failing to diversify attack sides enough and having to go to this retake game. And in the end of this, it was Leviathan actually recognizing the defense that 100 Thieves was trying to play in those retakes and how they toppled them over in the third map of this series.
And the story of the third map for 100 Thieves was incredible. Super neck and neck. It looked like Leviathan was going to pull off this crazy comeback, and it ended with this. A bang 1v3.
So good.
Shorty out to win it. Just an insane
Mom
moment for
and
him.
Dad in the crowd.
Yeah, a whole crowd cheering his name. His parents there to watch. It felt too perfect for 100 Thieves.
It genuinely did. That is a memory that Bang and his family will have for the rest of their lives. It was an awesome moment to witness live and in person, and definitely go back and check out that VOD if you haven't had a chance to do so yet. It was spectacular. Speaking of spectacular, though, we actually had our second game, which, shockingly enough, none of us thought we were going to get going into it. It was Loud versus Evil Geniuses. We all felt that, Mimi, this is going to be Loud's game to win, basically. Like, EG, no offense to them. They've been struggling. Yeah, sure, they've been on the up and up, but it's Loud we're talking about.
Yeah, it is. And this game had something for everyone. A map of really cool preparation and counter-stratting by EG to win things out. A map number 2 where it looks like an upset is going to happen, and then it just gets absurd. The second half of this Haven game was clutch after clutch. Come won 2 of the exact same 1v3 from Long here. Almost won another one to keep EG in it. It was insane, but at the last second, Loud showed up and won it out.
Yeah, we called on Calm. Calm delivered, but then Loud got angry.
Yes.
And they got hungry. You could see it on Ospas's face, even after his 4K. It was just stone cold business. Even the 4K wasn't enough for them, and they came out so strong.
Yeah, and the final map too, right? Like Cowanzine, it was physically impossible for him to lose a clutch. It seemed destined for Loud to win that 113-0. It was plot armor, as they will now maintain their flawless record in the league.
Yeah, so the story keeps on here for Loud. For Evil Geniuses, though, even though they hold an L, it's not the worst kind, genuinely, because you look pretty good in that game. That being said, though, unfortunately, still hold 1 on the L column there. So you are 1-4 in 9th place. But as it stands right now, what makes this day in particular so exciting is that this is actually the battle for 2nd place, because you're going to have Furia versus Cloud9, our first game of the day. And then it's NRG versus Crew. Is NRG still in a slump? How are they feeling? Is Crew on the up and up like EG? Those questions will be answered later on today. But let's talk about those games, though, because, you know, we saw so many great plays. And just real fast, I want to talk about it. Like, the battle for 2nd place. This is going to be exciting.
It's going to be insane. We went into this thinking that the battle for 2nd place would be Loud, Leviathan, maybe even Furia coming into the mix. NRG as well, one of those teams. But at this point, it's Cloud9, a team in contention to hit that spot. Someone who made probably the craziest roster move in the offseason, and it has just worked so well for them to now be in this position as the best team in NA in terms of standings, and maybe even the 2nd best in the league.
It's ridiculous. I don't want to talk about them too much since we're about to get into them, but knowing that Cloud9 is still improving and changing the things they're doing from week to week after putting in new players, there's teams that have the same players and are not improving or even finding ways to diversify enough. So it's been super impressive.
Yeah, it has been impressive.
Can do it.
And let's not forget about Furia as well, because there's plenty of opportunity for that team. That's why they're in second. They're a great squad, too. We'll talk about that later on, though. But yesterday, though, we saw an all-time clutch that was played by Bang when he pulled out the shorty to beat Leviathan. And I know our viewers are so good at this video game. They could pull off the impossible. So let's see some clutches in another segment of What You Got. shots.
Ooh.
Okay,
What do
so
they have?
I don't
The boys were
know.
really good
Actually,
yesterday.
production kept us
We didn't get to
completely
see
in the
these.
dark about all the clips, so we're just gonna roll with it. First up, here's Gravity with a clutch,
Gravity.
Viper, Molly. Let's see here. Okay. Oh no.
How did that bounce like that? I don't understand the physics of that.
I think that
I wish we could
that's
slow-mo it.
special. That's so that actually can happen on the little wire next to the spike as well. I've multiple times being a lineup Larry over here. But yeah, that kind of stuff, you don't even know how to recuperate, right? Because in the shots, we're literally drawing a perfect Reyna on the wall. You're lost in the sauce after that.
When you're talking about textures, it's a wrap, people. All right, next up, we have Galaxy Val with a clip that shows that you never back Sage into a corner. All right, let's see what we get here. Galaxy, well played, thriving. And oh my goodness.
The GG message in chat, that's how I know they're going to win this one.
Yeah, it's done. Oh my God, Galaxy.
Change the universe.
Yeah. I hate you.
That was clean, though. Nice shot.
It was
by them.
amazing. It was
Also,
an amazing shot and amazing pun.
It looked like an aim lab scenario. The opponent just like perfectly inted one at a time into every other doorway to alternate it.
I wish that happens to me, but instead everyone just swarms me at the same time and then I die. In our next clip, it's from Chase, and it is a whiff that is quickly redeemed.
Ooh.
Let's see this here. So we're gonna get some fresh air in a moment.
Always love to see a good whiffy.
Yep. Okay, not bad.
fine.
Not bad, Poppy, you got this.
Son.
Oh, I know.
What that cat doing?
Okay, never mind. He's a god. Cloud9, pick him up right now.
Was that an intentional bait? Calculated?
He watched the Yay training video.
He did.
Absolutely. Aim labs all day.
100%. That's right. Okay. Let's go ahead and see this 3K clutch from Maddie. I'm actually quite curious on this one. 3K, we've been seeing some good plays today. Is this one going to stack up to what we just saw from Galaxy?
I like the
Tag.
numbers in the name. 48435576. That's how you know they're going to be an absolute gamer. Get the res up.
Ooh.
Okay.
Oh, nice shot.
Dirty. And that was to tie it up, too.
Yeah.
Battle save.
Actual like hype from the teammates in the chat too.
Yeah, right? It was really
Positive ranked experience.
positive experience. All right, here we go. And finally, we have a cracked egg.
What?
Is this
Yes! Look at this. Oh, man, he thinks he's so good. But he's like not. So,
Look at that focus.
what?
Holy.
What? No, don't show a good play from Sideshow.
Dodges!
I'm crazy! Yeah, you. Oh my gosh! I did not approve Sideshow praise on this broadcast. Hello? What is happening here? Why are we showing a good play from?
Josh is actually fairly good at the video game. Occasionally. When he doesn't have a desire to int, you get a 50-50 with him of either he's going to full throw or do something ridiculous.
That was impressive, but I didn't think we were showing normal games.
Yeah.
That
What were
was
you
a
showing?
highlight.
I'm just saying that. Yes, Josh is good, but why can't he be good with me? Because he always ints, and you do too. Why do you guys do this to
No,
me?
we don't int with you. Josh is a serious player. We were playing some scrims last night to get ready for Premiere, and Josh is next up, I'm telling you.
He's next up.
He just has to play controller. Don't let that guy touch Neon.
Currently,
No.
the puppy in him.
Yeah, he's
growing.
He's got that small dog in him. Anyway, throughout the show today, make sure you wonderful people at home are using the hashtags VCT Americas and VCT so we can feature your stuff on the broadcast. Now, coming up next, we're going to break down Furia versus Cloud9 and introduce you to some new, exciting faces that will be hitting the America stage very soon. Oh, a tease? We'll see you on the other side.
Could he be the difference maker? The timing's everything. Yeah, he gets two.
Welcome back to VCT Americas in our first match on this Tuesday. It's Furia versus Cloud9, and this is going to be the battle for second place in the standings. But let's talk about the Brazilians first. Furia, the number 2 squad from Brazil. And for a moment, I think we were all convinced that they could have been punching above their weight class to the top with how they were playing. But it feels like, Mimi, since then, they've kind of been struggling a little bit to find their footing. They barely squeaked by EG last week.
They had their matchup to try and prove they were the best. They got dominated by Loud, as we would expect. But the game last week, I feel, was a little bit unlike Furia. It was very, very scrappy. They lost a map to Evil Geniuses on Fracture, where it honestly looked like they were lost and running out of ideas. It relied so much on individual performances to be able to even pull that series back.
It really is. It's kind of almost a Digizine go button, or can Khalil frag really hard. It has to be a star power recently for Furia to really see the win in these rounds, and it's going to start being punished by everybody that's feeling good now as we get into week 4, week 5. But yeah, I think Furia, they extend their game a little bit, they start to mid-round more, and they may sort out kind of their protocols to be hitting the cycle here.
There was a lot of unforced errors, particularly in map number 1 and 2, where you saw Digizine going for these plays consistently into B main, getting shut down by Busio. Same thing with MW Zera. There were so many moments where it just looked uncoordinated. It looked out of touch for Furia, but they still are one of our top teams, even if they had a rough week, and they did manage to close it out.
Yeah, they did. And you know, one of the reasons why they were able to is MW Zera, right, who has always been a good hand for this team, guys. He's always provided when they need to. And Riv, I think, like, if you're really looking for a player to be that guy for the team to dig them out of the hole, it's this guy right here.
He can. You look back to Lock-In versus a game in Fnatic. He was the one going crazy on Sky, that is, and he still has his race. So very versatile in that sense, can pop off when you need him, and he will probably be needed today.
Yeah, in the last map, it was him who got them over the line. They had 8 multi-kill rounds where someone got 3 or more kills just on this final map, and a huge number of those were from MW Zera. His individual performance was fantastic, and consistently, he is good with the utility. He's a strong Sky player in his role for Furia, but we didn't see a fixation on the utility, on the coordination last week, and those are issues I'm looking for them to shore up this week to not have to rely on those individual performances quite as much.
Yeah, and especially with how self-sufficient, Skies have been and stuff like that. Having a player like that on that agent, so strong. But on top of that, you want to see more of that synergy come in. We know that synergy is present. And Riv, I believe you do have a telestrator you wanted to break down here on Ascent, right?
I do. This play shows really well that synergy.
iPad baby time.
That synergy and how ultimates are used on the save rounds, on the eco rounds for Furia, and how well they're able to use these rounds to completely turn a game back in their favor. And here, ultimately, was the reason they win in overtime versus EG on Ascent. So as we start this off, we'll see Digizine clearing Cat for Mazine. And Mazine is the go button here. His flash from KO as they set up on Cat is going to be when they hit that go button. And if we pause right here, we can see Mazine's positioning is actually towards top mid, which means the flash he throws is going to be a perfect pop flash for the area of Market and that pizza. So as soon as it goes off, we're gonna see Digizine flying forward, which is 100% of the time what you can see on Furia if you're watching this team play. So I'm gonna pause it here again in a second after that flash goes off, but we'll let this play out and see Demon 1 playing mid, blind as a bat, and as soon as that flash goes off, Digizine isn't looking for Demon 1. Instantly, Digizine's eyes are running parallel with this paranoia from Khalil going into Market. QCK is ready to pick up that pop flash in pizza. So the protocol started. Digizine can now go create chaos, as he does with that go button. And actually, to pause real quick, don't forget on this outside, it's kind of hard to see now, you do have MW Zera on Sova. I wanted to point that out because it comes into the round later. So they play out this round. It's a quick kill right onto Demon 1. They've taken out the priority op on a low eco round. That's picked up, and into the site they go, identifying the rest of EG. From the shadows from Jogamo, easy info that somebody's boat, and that's grabbed by MW Zera's ultimate, another ult on that eco round. And we see these rounds, these little funky strats coming out from Furia to be able to pick up their ecos. And especially after timeouts, keep an eye out for Furia when they have a timeout because they pull out something funky every time.
Yeah.
They're really strong at prepping those little individual plays and utility combinations like you were showcasing there. But they also generally are a team that can be pretty good at playing into that mid-round. Normally, like you're talking about, we're seeing those moments where Digizin is being super proactive, playing on that jet role, looking more akin to a Taco or an Osbus.
Yeah.
But in their game last week, well, we had some of those moments. We also had a lot of moments where it didn't feel like the support was there, where it felt a lot more disconnected for Furia. So I think this week they should focus more on some of those set plays, on leaning into the structure that we know they can have.
Yeah, give me more of that. Right, because that is the Furia that we all got excited about at lock-in.
Yes.
That evolved, that groove, that just went past being just, Brazil team go shoot people. Like, no. It was actually like structure, and that is exactly what they're going to need if they want to take down Cloud9. But for more on this squad and their mentality heading into today, here's Khalil.
A vontade que a gente tem para ser melhor a cada dia é a vontade de vencer, não tem muito isso, porque querendo ou não a gente está longe da família, a gente está longe de quem a gente gosta, a gente está longe do nosso país, então a gente está aqui para dar tudo de si, e a gente está 100% dando tudo de si para ganhar.
It is a difficult thing for a player to move, from another country, from anywhere really. I don't want to compare because everyone has their own struggle. But it is challenging, Riv, for a player to move, from another country. It has to catch up on things, right? The culture, everything around it. And even then, right, they're still performing. They're still coming out here every single week. And that is something to honestly praise them about.
Absolutely. Doing this, it's never easy to make, I always say your hobby your jobby. Right? You play games, but it becomes very different when that's a day in, day out thing. They leave here and they want to still play, but they need to break from it, right? There is a lot that goes in, week out, and there's only a few days to prepare for the next one, Mimi. There's 9 weeks here, and that's kind of a dead sprint for everybody.
And that adds a lot of pressure to Furia because you're sacrificing so much to be here, to be in this position. So I think for them, winning means everything. Being able to prove that the sacrifice is worth something is huge for them. So winning today, putting themselves in the top, showing that they can be the second-place team in the standings would be a massive achievement for the squad.
Yeah, this is your time, Furia, honestly. And, honestly, in the immortal words of RuPaul, don't bleep it up. Anyway, moving on, though, let's go ahead and move on to Cloud9, the #1 team in North America right now. Now, here's the thing. They upset NRG. They did something that we thought was not going to happen. This team, Mimi, I think they're the real deal.
They are the real deal because it's incredible. They did it using 2 new compositions. They pivoted their game plan completely and came into that NRG series so well prepared. And on top of that, they lost map 1. They got owned, honestly. Finesse was out calling them throughout that one. But the game plans on map 2 and 3, I mean, MC must have had a heart-to-heart with the team after that first map because they stepped up in such a big way.
The confidence to bring out a new comp, map 2, like you were saying, it's not map 1. They don't have time to mess up on that map 2. They'd already lost one, but yeah, absolute incredible. And you know what? C9 finally showed us a little bit of attack love when they've always been about the defensive retakes right now.
Yeah, they were good, but those retakes as well were such a crowning point for Cloud9. Their ability to play around flanks when they're going for the retakes, to understand when to push, when to pull, being patient in those moments is something that you wouldn't expect for how new some of these players are. The structure is there for Cloud9, and they've proved it against some of the best teams. Now for them, similar to Furia, it's a question of whether they can continue that to actually be a top squad.
And the changes look like they are to help everybody on the squad. The double ascent or double controller on Ascent seems to free up Jake a little bit from being the omen that needs to be called for a smoke mid or a smoke this way, and he can just focus on shooting and other omen jobs like doing the paranoia and literally fragging out.
Yeah, it is so long as they continue this pace and what they're doing here. Cloud9 look like a force to be reckoned with. It is very scary. And a lot of that comes from the leadership, right? He's not pictured here with the squad, but MCE, the coach of C9, actually explained how, the new players, especially Jake's positive energy and excitement during these rounds really helps to bring this team alive. Like, you become a pro player, you play it more and more, you kind of forget how good winning feels. You lose some of that innocence as you go more and more because you're expected to win. And sometimes bringing in fresh blood like these guys is exciting because we'll win a big round. Jake's just screaming his head off. That excitement and pure emotion, it's really good for veteran guys sometimes. Wholeheartedly agree. That was a Galaxy Brain quote there from MCE.
Fantastic insight from him, as always. This team is so good at harnessing these young players and giving them these positions where they are feeling comfortable. We saw it early with Rooney stepping into that IGL role with players around him to support, to give ideas, and a coach to help set him up for success. Jake had a bit of a slower start, but now last week he showed us why Cloud9 were so dedicated to this guy, because he's an insane individual player. The second half of Ascent, his Sheriff big frag there where he got 4 kills, won them that game, closed it out for them. Jake has really stepped up.
He honestly, there were plays you would question from him, but there are plays where Jake is also finding the style he can push, what he can play. So we see him learning from game to game as well, and how good he's actually becoming, and how much space he's being given by Cloud9.
And look at this right here, right? I mean, he says, I am here for a reason. I deserve it. Flow state activated. But the I deserve it. You know what? Not a lot of young players like approach the game like that. Like, I deserve this. I earned this opportunity. I'm going to take full advantage of it. And that's exactly what he's doing right now.
There's a lot of maturity showcased by those young players, and also from the more experienced players as well, adding into this one. In that same interview, MC was talking about how Leaf is constantly watching VODs, can play any role, can be flexible for this team, and that the other coaching staff in Cupert is always looking, trying to find new ideas. This team is continuing to innovate, to come up with new things, and also just perform consistently. With so little time, they just continue to impress. They really are the real deal.
Yeah,
It's a continuation of a lot of things. I just want to speak to the MCE thing one more time, is that the other side of that for the younger players is also tenfold. When they're not doing well, I feel like it's going to hit them harder. So this is a consistent thing that Cloud9 and the staff are all doing to keep those, spirits up. To make sure that none of that creeps in, that they may not, imposter syndrome, may not be there. No, everybody has full backing by the squad, and you're seeing how much it means to the players.
Yeah, it really does, and it has played out in the standings. That's why they're in second place right now. And guys, the success of Cloud9 in 2023 has sent every org scouting for young talent. Look, guys, I'm a journalist. I know everything. I'm not a journalist. Look, Jake and Rooney, they have stolen the show. You got talent out there like Demon One as well, and we've got a sneak peek at some of the future stars that are hitting our stage very soon.
Who's next?
They need to deal with him still. Pushing down, dash forward. He's out in the open, and it's chased. Nice! Coin flip, opens luck still. Rooney at the back, and what a reset. Oh no, forget it. He hits one, it's gonna be countered. Rooney gets it.
With the outstanding debuts of Cloud9 rookies Jake and Rooney, teams are waking up to the fact that there's a lot of great unsigned players out there and are making roster moves. Tier 2 and collegiate VALORANT is stacked with the next generation of talent, and you're going to be seeing them take the stage very soon. Let's go ahead and meet some of these future stars. First up, there's Saj Uwu, who was recently picked up from Tier 2's nearest airport. This crafty Omen main says that she connects with the agent on an emotional level. Next, there's Drip, who was recently picked up by Leviathan. While the Arizona State student has a GPA of 1.2, his ACS is 290, and he can click those heads, but good God, is he dumb. Another exciting young player, it's Binky Boy, a pickup from Tier 2's Roblox Rejects. He's an incredible initiator and can always be counted on in the clutch, except when someone shoots Wingman, little bro go dead. You can't forget about I Don't Miss Her, a player everyone has been sleeping on, recruited from the Girl Kisser squad. He's one of the scene's most impactful Sentinel players. And this just in, MCE scouted another rookie for Cloud9, meet Tech Paws. This guy has that dog in him, an absolute madman from Tier 2's Fart Clan. He's got 3 broken keyboards under his belt, and he isn't stopping there. The future is bright. Oh, man, look at those young stars. Wow, that's really just some... I'm just shocked that they all can't point to the logo of their team.
How are they not on teams yet?
I don't know. Maybe it's because they can't point to the logo on the jersey, Riv. That might be the reason why. Don't you think?
Go back, you know.
People have been saying NA is dead. Just look at all the talent out there. How can this region not be on top of the world?
How could you say that? The future is bright, people. But after the break, we're going to have the desk predict our kickoff match of the day. It's Furia going up against Cloud9. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
That poor keyboard.
Welcome back, everyone. Our teams are about to take the stage, so let's get into some good old-fashioned whiteboard predictions. And here are our current standings of the day, so that this way we can all keep everything in line here. I am a gosh darn genius. Look at me.
I'm slightly better than a coin.
Wow, that's not bad. I'm just saying, guys, I might just be like the biggest brain
God,
analyst.
my predictions have been horrific.
Yeah, why are you have 11?
To 11.
Because you have L. You're already just gonna L right there.
Oh my God.
Oh man,
Yeah,
and the audience. You'd think the audience would have nailed it. They're never wrong, right, Mimi?
yeah, I thought they were always getting it right. It's crazy. They're
Yeah.
just like me.
I know everyone in our chat right now is like high immortal or something like that. You know, they're all so
Million
good.
channel points.
They're all million channel points, all
Everyone's
so
telling you,
good.
like, Diamond 3+.
All right, let's do some predictions, shall we? Riv, you're up first. Who you got? Who's winning today? Who's winning our first game? And it's
Just kidding.
Cloud.
Is
Cloud.
there 9 of those?
Cloud
1,
nine.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep.
9.
That's
Cloud
finished.
9.
I don't like that you do this. The levy, the
Pictures.
9 clouds, I'm offended. Mimi, your turn.
Furia.
Furia.
That is the Panther.
Unbelievable. The design, the eloquence, really just what you put into it. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, all I'm going to say is this.
We got-
Jack, you better get ready, my friend, because this artwork right here is going to shatter your brain. Rebrand the logo, redraw it. Look at this excellent
actually good.
design. It's gorgeous,
Wait,
isn't
that's
it?
actually good.
It looks great, right?
I'm impressed.
Yeah, you know, it's got synergy and lines and stuff. The cloud, oh, I dropped that. But, so we all think, Cloud9, Furia.
Furia.
Why Furia?
Furia, because I think they've had more history, more consistent. I don't know. It's going to be so close.
Okay,
I'm
it's
not
going to
even
be a close
confident
one, guys, but it's time to wrap up this pre-show and get to it today. It's Cloud9 versus Furia, Energy versus Crew. It's the final day of VCT Americas. Super Week starts right now. This stream contains fast-flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised. Everyone was talking about him, and this is going to be the guy to look out for.
Too much Cryo again. Does this guy miss? Does Cryo ever miss? No, he doesn't. Listen, olha Zé. Escala bem. Faz duplo abate. Vamos, Portão. Se acaba tempo e leva.
Crew is a team that we've faced plenty of times. Kesnet, he's like their star player.
Crew definitely okay, just waiting the clock out. No daggers coming in. It's Kesnet once again. Oh my gosh.
Contra Energy, desde el inicio de la liga lo dije que era uno de los equipos más fuertes, uno de los equipos que más rápido se te adaptan, no te la regalan, digamos.
The pit then comes back down, and it's Energy across the board. Finesse with the last 2 kills.
A gente vai jogar contra a Cloud9 também, que é um time bem forte. Eles estavam vindo meio como, não underdogs, mas acho que como teve bastante mudança na line, é um pouco mais fraco.
Jake's being so pesky, and he gets 2 clean shots out from him. The third falls.
Furia, it's kind of a question mark for me. They've played 2 teams from South America. They haven't played any teams from North America, and that's why I'm curious, because I have no clue.
There's another one from MW. Double swing. No way!
Two teams on a collision course for second place. It's Cloud9 versus Furia. Both squads finding wins here in Super Week, but now only one can walk away with the dub. Let's find out who it is. As we have Furia getting ready to go here. They know what's on the line, the stakes here, Mimi. This is the journey now to Tokyo at this point, as we're at the midpoint of America.
For Cloud9, it's a team that had such low expectations coming into the season, but have had this continuous upward trajectory ever since. 3-1 in the standings right now. And if they win here, then I don't think anyone can be a non-believer in this squad anymore.
100%. I mean, look, I get that, you know, Cloud9 social media teams out there trying to paint themselves as the plucky underdogs, but let's be honest here. Cloud9's coming into this week with a lot of hype, a lot of energy, and a lot of prep. And that's what we're seeing from the C9 roster.
And I wonder when the pressure sets in, that they are a team at the top, that they're being focused, that they aren't like, oh no, you know, we're just vibing still, because
guys, look at us for Cloud9.
They're winning so much, it might set in. I think Furia may be able to add that pressure today. We talked about how they're honing their strats. It's pretty glaring what they've needed to work on, so shoring that up can really give them a solid game. And at the beginning of the season, we put Furia at the top. There's a reason they're in this match against Cloud9 for the second place.
There is. Furia is trying to wave off the kind of deceit that has creeped in after their last two games. You expect them to lose to Loud. Loud was so well prepared. That's fine. But they got such a damn close matchup against Evil Geniuses. And that's below the expectations for this team. Now here versus Cloud9, this is our chance to be like, okay, hey, we had one rough week, but that's not an issue whatsoever. We're going to continue to compete as a top squad.
Yeah, it's really, this is going to sound so weird to say, but it's like that almost delusional confidence you have to have of just like, we're going to do our thing. We're going to come here. We're going to play our game. We're going to do our job. We're going to do what we need to do to pick up this win. That you kind of have to have. Both teams have to go into this with that mentality. Otherwise, why are you out here trying to fight for that second place spot, Riv? You have to want this more than you want to breathe. And I think that C9 right now, they're hitting that point where once Tokyo starts becoming in the conversation, it's like, oh no, we want this. We really want it.
Absolutely. I think as we get into maps here real quick, Zelsis was kind of saying, yeah, just wait, we got it, we'll figure it out, and yeah.
Lo and behold, here we are.
It seems to happen. Sometimes you say, okay, we'll wait and see, and we do. Lotus getting banned out here. That is going to be the perma coming out from Furia, as well as C9's perma. Nice box.
The permits are both strong for these teams against their opponent. Cloud9 really likes their Lotus, and Furia as well is strong at Icebox. The first pick, though, will send us to Ascent, which is a little bit interesting, because Furia showed some weakness on this map. It got very close against Evil Geniuses. We were talking about how good their defensive side was, but that got exploited a little bit. Their site anchors weren't able to provide the same value, but I'm sure they've looked back at that, and also at Cloud9's Viper comp, which was excellent, and have a plan.
Yeah, but you did note that on Ascent, Furia does have some, you know, cheeky plays and uniqueness they could bring to the table. Wonder if they could do the same thing, though, on Fracture.
There were a few, right? And the Fracture, it could be interesting because they put that neon in. Does the neon change, right? They play around that neon fade, and not many teams do, so Fracture could be a question as well for the comp from the side of Furia.
I was not a fan of that neon composition. It felt like Digizin was still getting ahead of the team. The coordination wasn't quite right.
Yes. It's very easy to get ahead on neon.
Yeah, it is. And for Cloud9, that's a map that they are solid at as well. Down to the decider, though, we do get Pearl, which is going to be a super cool one. Both these teams are incredibly strong on that map, or at least C9 is, excuse me. For Furia, they've actually struggled on it. They were also playing the neon there, and it didn't look great compared to their other Brazilian teams where Pearl has been a strong suit.
All right, agent select now. First battleground for C9 versus Furia, the battle for second place. And we'll see what we end up getting here on Ascent for both teams. But I don't expect you're going to see much in the way of changes, maybe.
No, the Viper comp for Cloud9 is really cool. They play it differently than some other squads do. They have the Killjoy in the mix, and they don't always, on their attacking side, just default that mid-orb. They have quite a few different walls. They love contacting up off of those smokes. It was really good game plan from them on that attacking side, and also on their defense as well with the retakes we were talking about.
It was super smart. The way that they played around the double controller, just kind of activating everybody on the team a little bit more so they don't have to worry about getting and covering things because your smokes are already in place. place. It really helped C9.
Digizin has been struggling on these attacking sides, and this Viper comp is real tough to play against.
Well, now it's time to dive into the action and see how this all plays out. So let's get up and get loud, because it's game day, baby, and send it over to your casters. My favorite wingman, it's Doug and Bala.
That's not playing.
Thank you so much, Golden Boy Bola. The stories are oddly so similar for these two teams on how they've gotten here and their season so far. Both 3-1. Both have only lost to Loud, and now they clash for a pivotal place.
Yeah, I think both surprises too. I don't think anybody expected Cloud9 to give this face, and Furia, I think a lot of people are getting introduced to this Brazilian super team in a sense. It's really, really fun to watch, and I can't wait for this clash. This is the battle for second place.
As you were saying, it's just what everyone expected, right? Given Cloud9's tumultuous last couple of weeks and roster changes and everything that's gone on, for them to walk away from all of that, defeating all of the North American teams they've played, sitting here at 3-1, again, only a loss to Loud is just so surprising. But this feels like a real litmus test, right? This is where we find out a lot about either squad.
Furia, their first test against the North American squad. And it's full 5 towards B here right off rip. You can always pivot, but they might not. Given what they see, it's only Zelsis here. And that knife actually suppresses the KJ util.
Yeah, so he's no alarm bots, no nanos, nothing. Right?
But look at this fast flank from Cloud9. You already have Leaf and Zeppa re-controlling B main, and there's nobody there from Furia.
A paranoia from Jake to clear the way. And off of that, they've taken main. Lazine pushing forward, and they don't know that there's more. But they still managed to get those trades out. Just 2 left for Cloud9. Quickly turns into 1, and Zeppa's gotten 2 on the round. A tap looking for the third. 12 HP. Nothing. Fury get the pistol.
Really nice start. Especially on that double swing to end things, but I think every single fight there was controlled. Whereas for Cloud9, they jump at the opportunity for a fast flank when nobody's B main. When you see those conditions, you think the round is ripe for taking. But what happened in spawn there is really, really nicely approached by the players on Furia. And for Rooney, he was definitely expecting it, but Zelsis was tucked. Given he was trying to wait for his KJ util to come back, he wanted to stay alive for it. And again, a fast 5-man approach towards B.
Worked the first time. I like this. Given that Cloud9 will likely not have much of a buy, just hit him with the same thing. Don't show him anything different.
And it probably is a really nice approach against Cloud9 specifically too. Given how much they like to try to brawl, which is exactly the same identity that Furia like to have.
Should be a fun scrappy one. Furia have gotten the site again. This time no late flank, no fast flank, no pressure coming in from B main. It's all going to be coming in from spawn and from market. They've heard a couple of these weapons shot off too, so they know there's a Bulldog on the other side. Good chance to figure out there's a Phantom too. But it looks like those weapons are just going to be too much for Cloud9 to deal with.
Nice 2-piece from Rooney, but it's the rifles that stay alive for Furia right here. Every single one of them. Mazen did buy a Spectre into that, but very nice anti-eco. And very little considered damage from Cloud9. And you can tell Cloud9 definitely still going for the type of plays that will win them those ecos at some point in this series, and has won them so far. A lot of surprise rounds. Flashing out of the smoke, trying to flood the sites. That is so much a part of their style at this point in the game. Fury with a more spread default here. MW's the only one towards that B site. And he might act like it's the same type of situation, but with the knife going off here in A main, Cloud9 have to start making a different read. Mazen is 1 off his ult, but they're gonna go for the exec instead.
MW is going to be a little late to it too. He should have a late dart though, which could be problematic if it lands as the hit is happening, but
they used a lot there.
Yeah.
They didn't use the nanoswarms, and they still have 1 flash, but they used nade, flash from Mazen. They also used the paranoia from Khalil, so this re-exec is not coming with a big punch except for this K-ult. And given what Cloud9 has set up, it's only the first of these gun rounds, so they're not really going for any anti-KO setup, and you weren't expecting it here either, so see what they can get. They can drop this Viper wall. It just got fully refueled, so this might come as a surprise.
The problem is they're going to have to wait it out, but the ult brings that wall down. Nano to clear out back Jenny. A second for QCK just on the other side of the door, but Zeppa trying to spam through as the door goes down. Not able to get a kill quite yet, but damage dealt.
And remember, EG running through that door was one of the reasons why Furia actually struggled on this map and had to fight back in overtime.
Very good call. You're absolutely right. This time the door down, it gets broken. The swing up from Leaf as he gets two dashes back. Finds some cover and goes back in. Khalil in hell. Leaf looking for a kill. He's going to get it. Third on the round. MW, the last standing, back in main, and he gets dropped. Cloud9 on the board.
And ultimately not being able to deal with Rooney because the KO ult, it just falls off. And they play for retake. Solidifies that round in the clutch.
See ya.
Leaf those double kill. Mazen used his last flash after that door fell, after the smoke fell, to try to re-clear and push up in the tree, but not quite enough to do anything. Leaf with the wide swing, and you can see the reaction from Frost.
Here.
Rooney 1 point away from having his ult. Zeppa as well.
Cover going out.
A couple of key ults. Just around the corner.
I've cleared our main, but it could be right under. I think with that Trailblazer, you don't expect. Look at this challenge, though. Leaf and Zelsis. You just break the turret and fall back while there's still pressure here in main. And they walked back in to where the knife cleared.
Zeppa's lit up. The shock dart's not going to help. Off the paranoia, they try to swing, and Khalil's happy to take that fight.
Love to see Digizin slow down here and wait for the players to come out, main. Rooney's going really aggro.
Maybe a bit too aggro.
Yeah, definitely. Trying to find a little pocket behind the smoke when it fades, but given how spread the Furia players are going to be after all those picks, that is a really nice execute on a number of reasons there. Digizin pressuring through tree, staying alive that entire time, and they're able to really understand how the setup is there from Cloud9. That walkthrough from Jake might have worked in another scenario, but Furia was fully aware.
It also helps that Khalil gets that 2K in main. They just wanted to take that fight, and they really weren't able to. So off of that, Furia are going to get another round. Zelsis looks like he should be able to preserve the Phantom into the next round.
I think that two-piece from Khalil that you just mentioned is something that was missing in their game against EG, and partly their game against Loud as well. That guy, in the first 2 weeks of play, was insane. Probably the most impressive in the league. And he's definitely slowed down in the last 2 series that he's played. But they're a nice response off of the paranoia that Jake throws out. You mentioned Rooney ults a moment ago prior to the last round because he's 1 point off. Now they still have a bye given that they went for it, but Zeppa only on a stinger. Here, this ult is going to be key. If they can find a good place for it.
We'll see if they do. Cloud9 calling a timeout. MC also wanting to be very intentional about finding a good place for that ult that you were just referring to. They also have Zeppa Seekers online that we mentioned in the previous round. So there are some tools here. Off of that, MC wanting to throw the brakes on it, make sure everything is executed as flawlessly as possible.
I also think it looked like Cloud9 might have been postured to go for that very aggressive B main push that Leaf has been so good at.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason. I mean, they did it like 3 times against NRG. They did it in their prior series against Loud too. It's a really nice hit. Some other teams are picking it up, but I think this early in the game, you wonder if MCE saw that that was the approach and decided to hold off on that. We'll see, 15 seconds left. It looks like they're still kind of positioned in that direction. And we do have a Molly lineup here. So this is that strat to push Leaf fast into his smoke and pressure up against QCK. You have to see if Furia is prepared for this, if they will react into A.
There's the molly.
This is actually way slower. It breaks the turret, and they're not going for the aggro push. And that timing was terrible from QCK. Second later,
Gun here.
and he would have spotted Leaf on the jiggle, and Leaf spotted him instead. What a difference. What a cool little play.
Yeah. Has all the makings of the previous hit, but you're right, slightly different outcome, still successful though. You mentioned too, off of seeing that aggression or off seeing that pressure from Cloud9, what would Furia do? They respond, they rotate A to get the spike down.
But here they have tools, Seekers, Pit. If they can control that Gen area. This is tough, and MW's playing so deep, he does not have post-plant util.
Blades used, DG's down, so's Mazin. MW once again left outnumbered.
He's got his ult now, but he needs to fight. He needs to actually find some value first.
He's so close, yeah. Difficult spot to ult from. Even more difficult when you're fighting in a 1v3.
It's too easy to push at that point.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of his plan. I was thinking he might be hoping to find a kill and then fall back while his team is still fighting, and maybe they can whittle it down to 1 or 2 players, and he can put the distance enough between them where he can play for it. But instead, that flood is just too fast. And that's a reaction that I think is forced there from Furia. And it's an error in that case, because losing QCK, you lose the map control. You don't actually understand what's going on because QCK didn't spot more than Leaf. Leaf just spammed him.
Yeah.
So now they'll need to consider what to do in that situation, because that turret is going to be under threat. He has not even moved it from that position.
It's a deep orb thrown from Rooney.
Oh, Rooney might be dead.
Yeah, he's in trouble.
He can jump back onto the box, but
Oh, he does. Well done. Well done to stay alive. Now Leaf has arrived. Zeppa close by as well with the Trailblazer. They have a really nice defensive setup here. 4 of Cloud9's members are here. And 3 of them have already found value. MW, I feel like we've seen this story before. 1vx late in the round. With nothing but a prayer.
and this will be the first round that Furia have not planted. The spike is down all the way down lane too, so timing doesn't work out for MW either. He was the hero in that game against EG, 30 bomb in that last map. But other than Haven, he has not been as strong of a pillar for this team. It's been Khalil, it's been Mazin. And it's all tied up now. Furia can actually be forced to eco. With some of the tools that they had in the last gone. They don't have that Hunter's Fury anymore. It's going to be a little while till Mazin cycles his null command, the most important on this attack side. And I also love how Cloud9, especially Celsius, is flexing all that KJ util to be finding specific spots where Furia likes to push on that B hit. Alarm bot on stairs. How passive you can play there if you're Celsius. It's a comfortable spot.
Turret's already cleared. Speaking of that utility. So it's just a nano initially. You have Rooney close by. Who can call for the molly if it is the right time. And there's the second one being used as well. The alarm cannot hit as Alsus gets one with it. The Phantom for the second. Leaf once again. Timing great. An aggressive swing out as they continue to funnel out and flood out of market.
One enemy remaining.
This anti-eco is so nice from Cloud9.
It was decisive. It was fast.
Look them in the eyes when you kill them.
That molly that we pointed out on stairs actually was able to find value on the other side of the stairs. You saw him pop it right there. Did just an insta-dies. I think there was a molly paired with that too from Rooney in that engagement. And remember what I just said about Furia planting in every single round up to that point in the prior round. All of a sudden, 2 denials. And those are fast and tough hits to hold. Again, Celsius is by himself in that instance, given the way that he's playing. He's super passive. His turret gets broken, and all of a sudden you have all the Cloud9 players there to receive.
They rotated so quickly. And you wonder if perhaps that's what Furia are talking through right now. Maybe throw a little pump fake or something, because it seems like Cloud9 have been very decisive. Once they get any info on an extremity of the map, they fully commit to shoring that up.
A note on the two coaches there. Frost on the screen, subbing in for Kalau, the actual head coach for Furia. Still not here in LA. And MCE on the other side, who has done such a good job scouting the two young players. Frost actually speaks mostly English and Spanish to his Brazilian players and able to understand quite a fair bit.
Furia down run with a different look this time. Deep flash out from Zeppelin towards A main. It looks like they may try to go mid a little bit here. There's no alarm bot. There's nobody spotting deep mid.
This could catch Cloud9, who has been going for extremity control quite a lot outside of those really passive setups. But look how Zelsis has swapped. He's got a kill setup inside of tree here. And you've seen Digizin commit down this. The thing is, no spike here. So you don't expect it to be completely considered. I've seen them go for a tree push where he goes all the way up into spawn. See what they call.
He just got his knife back up. I don't know that he's going to be able to spot Zelsis with it. Never mind, yeah, he is. And off of that, they should be able to move a little bit more freely, but pulling away back mid now.
Blocking sight.
Fast through the Viper wall too. There's nobody on the B site right now. Rooney should try to get in and maybe get a molly down on market. Jake is inside B main. He can't do anything. He's darted out too. He's gonna die.
Khalil was in such a good spot too, to find so much value there.
Wow.
Once they took mid, QCK dropped an alarm bot to make sure there was no push through. Zelsis walked into it. They left Khalil as a trap, and he gets two easy ones.
Leaf on the flank.
One enemy remaining.
It's nothing. I gotta commend Khalil there, 30 HP and he TPs away. Given the chance that Cloud9 consistently shows on the flanks, they're so fast on it. So he knows he's in trouble. They smelled blood and Leaf was right there, ready to receive. In this situation after the 2-kill. 4-4 Cloud9. I mean, at this point, this is already starting to look like a very scary half. Furia. Even though in some of these rounds, Cloud9 have looked perfect. The rounds that Furia are winning are just in kind. And now QCK with his ult, Leaf with his op. He was a monster against NRG. I keep repeating that, but it was Leaf of old. And I think he's really finding comfort because of how often he's able to play this jet now.
Yeah, I think it's worth mentioning over and over. He's gonna have an opportunity
timing
to
is
find
terrible.
value again. He's fast with it. Puts one right in between DG's eyes.
Gonna go join up with Zeppa, get the heal. See if they can find a fight in that time. This is occupying two players right now. Furia need to be taking map control off of that engagement, even though they lost a player.
Zeppa, understanding that there was a moment of weakness there, has to use his Trailblazer to clear tree back out. Mazine was really close by, too.
Yeah, and that actually, the info is gone.
Yeah, I don't think they were expecting Mazine to be that far up. It was just MW.
He's gonna look at Zelsis. He's gonna look at Zelsis.
Wow. He's patient on the first, and Zelsis cleans him up for it.
Still not in, though. 40 seconds. Look at MW.
Yeah, he's still on this flank.
He ulted in tree.
Zelsis had no idea.
My ult is 30 seconds
Oh,
left.
and he's running away to play the ult now. They should be able to get. Where are they going?
Uh-oh. They're going into it.
Remaining.
What is this round?
Strike down.
Oh
Defenders
my gosh, the Hunter's Fury is 30 HP.
What is this idea?
I don't know.
He has no time anymore. He could get the spike. I don't even know if there's enough to get towards A. No.
10 seconds
Yeah,
left.
Jake with the right play. I mean, that ult on the ramp. That is such a wild decision, but you know the HP of Jake. You know he's one clutch to that ult. But that spent the 10 seconds that he would have needed to be able to plant the spike, and Jake would have had to stay on the site and fight.
Yeah.
Scratch my head at that one. In fact, the entire idea with the lockdown to push up, I think they really thought they had a pinch. MW was definitely calling that. They thought they had a pinch on spawn on the players who were going to be avoiding that KJ ult, so they thought they could wrap up the round. And I also think concerned about A main as well. So there's a lot of considerations here that Furia brought into that. And overall, could have been the right choice, but eventually that ult, that one's going to cost him.
Don't get in my way.
Hearing the knife coming through, gets a pit down early.
Turret out.
I'm still head scratching at that previous round, man.
Yeah, but look, fast hit now. They've already gotten a dart and tree. It's cleared quite a lot. Starting to drone through the pit too while the pressure's coming in from Cat. This one's fast, but they still haven't picked up the spike.
Here.
It's a deep turret too to help hold the line a little bit. The flash and the swing out from Zeppa is just pretty. Oh, that's so pretty.
Cloud9 classic right there.
Yep.
Everybody frying.
This reminds me of something you said a couple of rounds ago, Ball, where it feels like when Cloud9 are winning rounds, they look almost perfect. When Furia are winning rounds, they look almost perfect, right? It seems like both teams, when they have what they want, they're executing it so flawlessly.
Which is completely not what you expected from this game, right? We expected scrap. We expected these guys to really take it to each other. But I think Furia's identity is changing a little bit over the last few weeks.
30 seconds left.
It's a little bit more considered, a little bit more cautious. In instances like this, I remember, to bring it back to that Leviathan game a few weeks ago, where I think a lot of people's radars were shifted towards Furia. They were doing a lot of things like this, saving very early in attack side rounds with 40 seconds left, with sometimes 3-4 players. Which is more cautious than ever. MW's gonna go for it though.
Last player standing.
And that hurts the entire idea. Saving 2 guns is so much better than just 1 hero rifle here. And DG still has the money for it, but he has not been the star of this team that you would have expected after lock-in.
Yeah, after the first few weeks as well. I mean, DG was great. Khalil was great as well, right? So it wasn't just DG, but he hasn't been what we expected him to be. You're absolutely right.
I think particularly on this half, the attack side ascent. And a bit of a fight. I mean, 2 and 7, struggling in the first kills. He's 1 and 3 in that regard. And here we go, dash and flash about to come, and right on top of it. Drone is so easy.
Yeah, MW was so screwed, man.
Look at that Molly also considering it, but they're stuck now.
I think they're okay with that.
Now that smoke coming back in from Jake is perfect. And how many times have we seen engagements deep in this spawn? Cloud9 have taken a situation where it looked scary at the beginning of this half. Fury was on 4, Cloud9 was on like 5 or something like that. And all of a sudden, this looks like a very solid half here. Still dangerous. Don't forget Fury's insane record on that defense.
Yeah.
But it's definitely much better than it might have looked at the beginning of this. And again, another flawless.
3 rounds in a row for Cloud9. Furia with an opportunity to try to get themselves to 5. Ult from Azine. And the Killjoy setup is towards A right now.
They're not playing super anti-KO here. I think Rooney just wants to pop a molly before the KO ult comes out. Mazine does have that, so see if he can get that off. And he doesn't.
So close. You can see the setup there once again. We've seen him make that mistake before. Jake backside, only able to get 1. Zeppa close by. The rest of Cloud9 just around the corner. Waiting to pounce, waiting to strike. Spike planted now, Seekers to pave the way. They've got deep flash as well. As Leaf tries to get up top, find some high ground. Nothing found yet. Op in hand. Angles close. Head spotted and shot delivered.
I fall to that though. Yes, spammed on Celsius.
Mazine is playing so much further back. Finally cleared out.
Oh no.
Tragic way to go. Is there a knife? Yeah. Brutal.
What a way to end the half. Cloud9. I mean, I'm not sure why MW is not contributing to that fight to break the lockdown, but they needed to get in there. They needed to get in their face, and take this fight at some point. Ooh, Zappa clean with it too. That's an 8-4 half for Cloud9, and things are looking very good here in this engagement against the Brazilians.
All smiles out from Zelsis, and for good reason. Unreal. 8-4 half for Cloud9. Let's throw it down to Mimi down at the Telestrator test to hit us with some knowledge.
Knowledge. Thanks very much, Doug. I wanted to take a look at one of these rounds from Cloud9, showing not only the preset plays that they have with this Viper, but also their ability to play in the mid round. As this one starts out and we look towards the mini-map here, you'll see that it is a 4-1 setup for Furia, playing heavy towards this A site with just their Killjoy alone. And as we go back to the wide, you'll notice that this molly was instantly thrown by Rooney that lands on top of that default Killjoy turret. Well, that's chipping away at that Killjoy turret and eventually break it. Cloud9 is just waiting. All three of their players are waiting to hear that little bit of a sound cue. And then, once that activates, they will make their way into this space and find the Killjoy player who is lurking alone there. QCK realizes that a push is likely to come and wants to hold for it, but Leaf finds that kill. And now Cloud9, they don't overreact through this one. They don't instantly push through and try and make some flank happen here. Instead, they play things slow in the 5 versus 4 as they realize that if that Killjoy's alone, Furia is likely going to be finishing this one towards A. And you realize everyone is starting to rotate over and set up for the retake. As we start to watch this site hit play on out for Furia, it will be pretty much uncontested. They get their way in, they omen ult, and they have themselves set up in a pretty solid position for the post plant. But there are a lot of tools available for Cloud9. You'll notice Seeker's online for Zeppa and Leaf with this Blade Storm as he's given that recovered weapon over to one of his teammates who didn't have a gun at the beginning of this round. Furia's set up, they want to play on site in the post plant, and they want to try and counter this one out, sending the volley of utility to stall. But you'll notice there's kind of two parts to this one. Not only are the Seekers coming in from heaven, but there's a Skydog coming out from door as well, so it's a pinch. And the Furia players don't quite know where to look, as on this site, they'll end up just getting absolutely overwhelmed by Leaf up heaven as their eyes were drawn towards the other side. This Cloud9 team, even when they get those early advantages, are very patient in these late rounds to make the right decision, to regroup. The structure was showing, and they have an 8-4 half. We'll have to see if they can close out as we head back to Doug and Bala.
Thank you so much, Mimi. Yeah, if you're Furia, eyes rise to turn tides. You find yourself down 4 rounds at halftime in this opening best of 3, but statistically, this should be their better side. This is where DG historically pops off.
They've had a number of incredible comebacks already on Ascent. It's not something that's uncommon in this day and age, but let's see what they show us on the pistol round, because it needs to start here. Looking like a very aggressive walk down mid, maybe a flash for DG. No, they're just looking up top. And this Viper all that Cloud9 is throwing is definitely different from what you'll maybe face in scrims. Usually you have that orb covering this spot.
Toxin screen down.
This wall also covers the cat, so Rooney now flank. And everybody else hitting that A site. There's Cloud. Oh no, the dart, that was so unlucky. Should have been able to consider that last pulse, but look at Leaf, look at Leaf.
They passed right by each other, and they have no idea. Oh dear. Almost makes a mess out of it. There's another one just on the other side of the smoke! How have Cloud9 gotten away with this much value? How is Leaf still alive? Dashing forward now, staying away, preserving his life.
I mean, Furia are lost. They don't know where they went.
I mean, they've flipped sides. On opposite sides of one another. Now MW. Latale's hold his time. 1vx late in the round. Dead. Pistol, Cloud9.
What a play from Leaf. I mean, ducking right under the door, into the smoke. And then QCK, I think, was reloading in that smoke after breaking the door on his own, and that's why he actually is not able to jump out of the smoke and deal with Leaf, who had swung on his teammate. You would have expected him to be right back into that.
Yeah.
It's either reloading his weapon, so he actually didn't have a chance to fight, or miscomms. And we've seen quite a few moments where it could have been miscomms here from Furia. It doesn't look as perfect, as clean.
Toxins going up.
Yeah, they dropped that same wall again on the attacking side. And there was, I mean, Rooney got spotted, ultimately. His timing wasn't great in the previous round, but there is a little pocket.
Yeah, fridge.
Yeah, for him to play around. We'll see if it kind of keep that in the back of your mind. We'll see if that comes into play later.
Spam through the smoke on a Khalil. QCK, a lot of damage done to him too, and they've stuck Leaf in his pocket. Tunneling. Some of these players, they hear the runaway and they don't consider all the facets.
Shadows traveling.
It really does just look too easy for Cloud9 sometimes, man.
Nailed them.
And this one should be a little bit easier given the pistols for Furia. But they have such a good hold. Oh dear.
But at least he considered it. At least he checked it. He was like, it's one of those things where you're like actually full clearing it, but you don't believe that there could be somebody there.
Yeah.
You're just doing it because it's built into you, and
you
so
should.
you turn away.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, really? Double take.
Another round for Cloud9. Furia now with guns. Light armor on 2. Ult's really nowhere close either.
No, neither side. Just Leaf. His knives are insane so far in LA. A land demon he is. Cloud9 though, with the opportunity to, if they close out this map in a clean fashion, that would be unreal. For Furia, who's been good on this map, I mean, they haven't dropped it so far. That's a good start. And there's only 2 rifles out here. 3 Spectres for Cloud9. This bonus is actually very difficult to convert, especially on defense side of Ascent.
Rooney falling as he tried to catch a timing mid, so they know that area of the map is exposed. Cloud9 okay with that, though. As they've gotten B, they should be able to get the spike done as well. Blades online. Dropped a weapon. So he can now fight a bit more flashily, a bit more stylishly. Question is, when do they go and how do they try to hold this? A deep flash, keeping Furia back. Mazine has already fallen. Jake trying to get aggressive and swing around.
It's a response from Khalil.
3v2 here, Blade's still up, and it's all Leaf's Blades now. The makings of a clutch moment, perhaps. He's gotten one, he's gotten the second. Oh, it's almost a playground now. It's almost a playground, but it's fumbled.
Is nothing.
That was close. That was, like you said, the makings of an insane clutch. And Furia hold on for one of the most important rounds that they had to win to bring this, or at least keep this comeback possible. If they lost that anti-bonus, they would have wiped all the gains that they made by having such a decent first half on attack. They're no strangers to defensive side comebacks, though. Lost a 9-3 against Leviathan. Lost 7-5 on the first half against EG. Won both of those games.
Oh, a little bit of mid action and a lot of targets for Mazine to have to deal with.
He's all by himself there.
Very aggressive, no one there to help him trade, no utility to set him up.
That's the IGL too. That's uncharacteristic for someone in that position to be peeking first on defense when you have a player like Digizine to take the peaks for you. No, he's not on point right now, but your tools are so crucial to the retake.
That Judge not going to find any value. Still 2 members on the site, though. Yep, and they had no idea. MW with 2 big ones. There's still one backside as well. Spike out of reach. Zalsis has fallen. But Jake's on the trade, and Zeppa has shown up. This is quickly a 2v2 here.
Oh.
One enemy remaining.
I don't understand. I thought he was going to smoke that off.
30 seconds left.
But instead, Zeppa going forward. He had the shot at the 1v1, but DG trades it out. Seems like he's starting to heat up a bit as well.
Yeah, both him and MW.
Yeah.
If they can start to bring this back in, DG specifically, I keep referring to this guy as the emotional leader for the team. In order for the emotional leader to put all his energy into keeping his team in the game, he has to still be on point. He can't focus on his own individual performance, which sometimes definitely hurts when you're a player of such importance. Jake missing the timing on that kill that he could have got on Digizin. Might have just ended that round. And one thing too, good setup for Furia with the judge close. You don't expect more to be in the site.
Well, that's not great. That's not great at all.
Spike down.
There it is.
We wanted him to warm up.
Enemy remaining.
4 on the round.
And this game has gotten back into easy comeback territory for Furia.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this one, anti-eco, but you see Leaf swinging there. That's the first time Digizin wins that fight against Leaf. Leaf, up to that point, was 5-0, first kills to first deaths. He was farming in that regard. Look at his scoreline, 22-11.
Turret out.
It's not only Digizin needs to come online, but they need to stop Leaf.
22 and 11 in 17 rounds, by the way. Oh my gosh.
He's going for more too. This is a page out of Cloud9's book.
Yeah.
But look at the little flavor there. You actually feint at the shark attack, feint that you're going to be coming into tiles, and instead, he's pushing the opposite direction into B main.
This is pacey from Cloud9, though. They instantly committed to flooding A.
Spike planted. Healing over here.
A couple of members taking some damage, heal them back up. A paranoia to keep them back for now. That Hunter's Fury off of MW.
Whoa!
He committed to the ult. What a play from Jake. Leaf still trying to dance around. 2 members
Player
left.
standing.
It's all going to be. It's just Zelsis now. That ult is going to be a problem, but he's gotten it down to 1.
Clear.
4 HP, attention divided. And I don't think he can do anything to stop this right now. He's gotten it to half, and the spam from Mazine gets the kill.
Try again.
What a crazy ult from Jake. But it actually almost worked out. It almost even gave the 1v1 for Zelsis on the site, given that Khalil had to go deal with him. He was so far away when the defuse was started. And that was a gun round there. Cloud9 have to call the brakes. Realize the situation that they were in after winning pistol, after being so close on that bonus too, has shifted. And right now, it looks like Furia want to bring this back once again.
I'd love to be able to take a look at that last round one more time because it was so chaotic. I think the timings were everything in that situation, but it does feel like, you know, to go back to what you were saying, it kind of feels like for Cloud9, they had some really nice opportunities to put this away, and things just kind of haven't landed. I go back to that bonus, for example. That bonus lands, economy's broken for Furia, and we're talking about an entirely different conversation, but off of that, Furia have won 4 straight. DG's online. He's gotten, what, 5 kills in 2 rounds, something like that, maybe even more?
Yep.
Like, these are some of the keys that Furia needed in order to pull off this comeback. MW's finding value, DG's finding value, Khalil as well.
And I think it's, when I look at Digizin start to come online too, that's a scary thought because he had some words for this team ahead of their game. Talking specifically about Leaf and practicing against this team and how he was going to be fuming going into this game. And like we just talked about, the head-to-head between those two guys is definitely heating up. Digizin has not been a factor against Leaf so far. It feels like Leaf was the one fuming, but all of a sudden that might have just shifted. That's 2 rounds where Digizin goes crazy aggressive. One with the 4K and then one where the early kill in the gun round is so important. He's got the op now. Trained on Jake's position. Dart inside of main too, but doesn't spot Jake.
A little too high.
Oh, they're walking into it. Oh, no.
Paranoia Zelsis is there to help, and he gets one. How do you get that kill on the Leaf?
This is an eco. Light by here from Cloud9. Digizin's all alone, and he goes way too wide.
That was Op and Blades. Now down. See the shock darts trying to deny the early plant. As soon as the wall goes down, as soon as the door gets broken, the smoke goes up.
Oh,
GCK
risky.
taking a lot of spam, you're right. Trying to cross what feels like an endless expanse.
And as soon as they hear that, they don't want to go down into dark.
I wouldn't either.
Can he get a ping? If he got a ping there, that's a very easy kill on the Jake.
I mean, that flash may have just saved his life from Zeppa.
If I'm Fury, I'm considering saving, yep. Off we go, and that hurts because that was an eco. That was a light pie.
Bot coming back.
Barely anything. A couple frenzies here, a stinger there. And you end up with a Cloud9 classic. late in these games. That's how they've been converting a lot of times. Not the most clean when it comes to all of the gun rounds, but they consistently find an eco round win at one point or another.
It's like they steal one away. And remember, again, the investment from Furia, not only was it a light buy from Cloud9, but there was investment from Furia. There was the op in the hands of DG.
Yes, that was an expensive Furia round. He bought that op up too.
And that was Blades that DG used as well. Blades that he would love to have right now.
Oh, he's broke, you're right. Ouch. Shifting the weaponry and out, he gets the Bulldog. Cloud9 continue to tally up. I mean, rounds like that, their 38% win rate on ecos is absurd.
Quiet from Cloud9 in the opening of this round. A second flash to see if there's any aggression coming in from A main, or picked up for Zeppa. Now 1 point from Seekers.
I got the spike.
You can see the setup. They give them the spike. They want to have that tool available. That also requires them getting the spike down and getting site control. And there are 4 members of Furia close by.
Blinding. Good insta counter, you're right. That nade comes in. Is there a follow-up? No, not when the suppress comes in. 50 seconds though, Cloud9 still room to pivot. And we've seen Leaf get put into this wine position, but they're droning him out. It actually gets, it's too far away, so it doesn't have the length for it.
First time we really see them explore this way. The alarm bot is going to get cleared out. And now just doubt and questions for Furia. Confused, they muse what's before them and try to figure out what the next play is. Leaf getting the opener on Mazine is a problem. They're starting to crumble. It's just Khalil who's still back on site. And he's done admirably to get this far, but not able to find any more.
And none of that utility that they so desperately needed to get out in order to hold that site against the initial push from Cloud9. All of a sudden, that's not available. You don't have that molly, you don't have the paranoia. And Cloud9 just rip it open. And again, you see the value in having that Viper, that pivot off of the wall, able to go up cat there too, is just so strong. Other teams favor that B walkout wall. Teams like Loud who have since dropped that Viper comp. You see Cloud9 sticking to it, and might be reasons like that. Out of that timeout, MC talked to his team, and all of a sudden, Cloud9 back up. Win 2 in a row, and we're on match point for the first map.
Match point.
Can't help but wonder what it was that MC said in that timeout, and now Frost is going to have an opportunity to say something similar. Try to turn tides again. Because you're right, there had been 4 in a row for Furia. It looked like the comeback was fully online. It looked like it was going to be over, and Furia were going to take full control, but that timeout just threw the brakes on everything.
Yeah. This one not only is getting the minds right, but you have to get the strats right. Have to find out what the key is to Cloud9, because they've shown quite a number of different looks too, and they have so many opportunities to pivot. So obviously you have an aggressive round in your pocket, but for 4 in a row, you're gonna need to be able to mix that in. I think one thing for sure though, they cannot withstand that full hit from Cloud9 on either side. It's been super strong, especially that A side. You cannot allow them to get up into A main and execute with full utility, because what you have is just going to be able to get rotated around and mid-rounded against.
Lots of pings on B site. Lots of presence that way as well.
Turret out.
They have the Seekers, they have the Pit.
Placing swarm grenade.
All 5.
Placing swarm
Fast
grenade.
round out of Cloud9 might be exactly the opposite of what Furia was considering. Digizin's here, only a Sheriff. Oh, the flash, but
Flash,
no damage done.
The flash, the dart, DG up front with the Sheriff.
Good shock.
It was a really cool setup to deny that early aggression. But they're just able to wait out a little bit of that. Now go forward. Leaf with blades. Has a stinger too. I mean, these moments are always intense.
He just got spammed.
Yeah, literally just the wall dividing a couple of members.
Rifle down, it's only DG with the sheriff.
And he's the only one on site. The rest of the members too far away to help. Too far away to provide cover. Now you're gonna have to navigate the pit as well.
And the two rifles were completely opposite side. MW had one too, but economically they were hurting. Economically, this round already was in the bin.
And with that should fall the map.
And we have to say too, teams have struggled to find ways to find this value from the Viper's pit on attack, but this one is so good until that.
Well, pit's now down. Just as the pit goes down, Cloud9 close out the round, 13-8 against Furia to take Ascent.
Very nice start on a map that Furia felt very strong on. And I keep thinking back to that first half and how Cloud9 was just so clean in the rounds that they were winning on defense. A solid half, and then the continuation on attack was just insane. To be able to do that against one of the best defense side teams on Ascent in Furia is ridiculous. This team stocks just continued to rise.
And you know, you always get I feel like some people have been waiting for the moment that they slow down, right? Okay, when is the honeymoon over? When do the young bucks show cracks in their armor? When do things start to fall apart? But I mean, they've done it against the best. They've done it against North America. They put up hell of a fight against Loud. Now they're doing it against Furia. I mean, who can stop these guys?
This battle for second place is delivering so far in the first map. We've got two potential maps to go. Fracture is coming up, and I think this one is going to be super interesting because this is now Cloud9's map pick, and Furia need to find an answer. We'll see you after the break.
What is this from EA? He is currently unstoppable. He is just a consistent demon. El Diablo.
Hey guys, it's EA. Welcome to my course on optimal Valorant training. I'm going to be demonstrating now some angle clearing. I'll slowly come around the corner as well, making sure no one's on these off angles.
Red Bull gives you wings. Red Bull gives you wings.